What's up, everybody? What's up? Can you hear me fine? Can you hear me? Can you hear me fine? What's up, Jarrett? My brother, Billiot. How you doing, brother? Let's get some lights on here, a bit more light here. It's going from a kind of a weird sunny day to kind of an overcast thing here. And now I'm like, okay, we got to turn on some lights here. Because we're going to be talking for a while here with you. I'm sure we're going to be reading a lot of comments from you. White Trash Tiger, a.k.a. my man Chris Melder. What's good, Lon? Let's go. That's what he says down below. Chris, happy Friday, brother. Just 3 letters on my mind, on the docket. We're going to be previewing the spring game that starts live tomorrow. And that's going to be on ESPN Plus, SEC Plus. What was that, 11:30 Central, or is that 12:30 Central? Let me make sure of that. Start time. We're gutted. Not going to be able to make it to the spring game. And those are always such fun events. And for another year, we're going to have to miss this one and put all of our efforts into going for the fall and being there for the fall and being there for the duration of the fall, hopefully. And that's really going to have to be a must at this point because we just got to be there. Just got to have more Tigers. We're going to be watching this game. We're also going to have a live link of this game on LSUODYSSEY.com. So if you cannot afford ESPN Plus, if you cannot afford SEC Network, whatever, even though we are a subscription site, we are going to put the spring game live link, just like we've done the last few years. We're going to put that live link for free on the site tomorrow. If that shows up, if there's a live link that shows up, we will snatch that thing, put that in there. If that live link gets disabled at any moment during the live show, or sorry, the live scrimmage, the live spring game, we will go in search of another workable link. And so we will try and do what we can to simulcast from our own television to YouTube what's going on, but shh. Scrimmage will begin tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. Central Time. 1:15 p.m. Central Time. The warm-up begins, though, at 12:30 p.m. And that's when the coverage does begin at SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. These are going to be streaming broadcasts, subscription-only type broadcasts. So if you are not going to be down for that, just be advised. Just be advised. But that's how you're going to probably have to – that's probably going to be the way that you're going to have to watch this thing is you're going to have to subscribe if that's – these things are really stupid. I hate the cash grabs of it all. But remember, back in the day when there was only a few of these channels and it wasn't always such a cash grab and it was maybe more sensibly priced cable, we didn't always have access to these things. The LSU spring game on TV every year. That didn't always happen, You'd get maybe one big-time school, like the defending national champion from the year before or something, who has, like, the returning Heisman favorite, like USC. Maybe there was, like, USC spring games on ESPN. I think there was maybe one LSU spring game on ESPN at one point. And I want to say it was 2011. I'm not sure about that. But outside of that, until this recent era of streaming, this type of stuff wasn't possible. So, getting these access to this type of thing on such a broad level, where LSU fans from across the world have access to the spring game, I love it. It's fantastic, and it's great for someone like me who, if I could be there, I would have access to the spring game. I'd literally be on the sidelines. We've got the email, and it was like, damn it. If only we had been able to really gear everything towards this. I think that maybe is a missed opportunity. For sure is a missed opportunity. But I feel like this spring game could be a very intriguing prospect. There's a lot of tantalizing aspects to this spring game. So we're going to get a lot more of an understanding of what we have for 2024 LSU, what we have on roster after the spring game, of course, but also really what we need in the portal. And of course, Kelly's already like, it's going to be DT. We don't need anything else. It's going to be defensive tackle, nothing else, maybe. And maybe more of the identity of this squad. Maybe what does this team look like? Last 2 years, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Brian Thomas Jr. Those guys are the faces of LSU football. You can't put it any other way. How can you accurately evaluate this team? Because it's a very tricky squad to delve into, because we know there will be guys leaving this roster. Between here and now, between the spring game, no matter however many guys show out stat-wise, between now and the kickoff in Vegas against USC, once again another Sunday, Labor Day weekend, there's going to be some guys moving, and depending on who comes in, we will see maybe the worst position on roster go to a strength potentially, because it's Bo Davis who's coaching it, But it's very interesting to me, because we of course we were going to be worried about this defense. Of course we were going to be worried about a defense that was historically god awful, 110th or whatever in the nation. Just so just so bad. But the fact that we've there's going to be guys that may come in and transform this team, but right now we've got some exciting pieces across the board already. I mean, the fact that we've lost 2 first-round picks at receiver, the fact that we have a Heisman-winning quarterback who's going to be going to the NFL, first or second pick most likely, and our entire focus, though, is on our defense. How good is this defense going to be? How good is this defense going to be? And that just shows not only how historically shitty that Matt House defense was, but also just how damn loaded we are on offense. Year in, year out, since 2019. You could probably go back a few years. We just didn't take advantage of it before then. But now we're finally taking advantage of the spectacular, skill position athletes at our disposal the past 5 years since 2019. You're seeing guys being nominated for Biletnikoff. You're seeing guys constantly, year in, year out, Biletnikoff watch. We're starting to stack the tight end position, the offensive line. We have the best offensive line in America, the 2 best offensive linemen in America, with Will Campbell and Emory Jones. And you've started to build an army of offensive linemen under Brad Davis and Brian Kelly that is stunning. Steve Demio also deserves credit for that, former offensive line assistant who has moved on since. But unbelievable. When you build it with the foundation as a strong offensive line, you're always going to be good. You're always going to be able to recruit quarterbacks. And, of course, you're always going to be able to continue to recruit great offensive linemen because it takes 5 to be on the field. So that gives guys a lot of competition, a lot of chances to get on the field, a lot of chances to win over coaches, a lot of chances to evolve and develop. And you've seen this offensive line in first year, 2022, second year, 2023, third year, already in 2024. Just an imperious offensive line. The fact we've been able to basically start the same offensive line setup for now 3 seasons, just changing the center from Charles Turner to DJ Chester, who by the way, minimal worries about him. He might have a mistake here and there, but minimal worries about him. He's going to be a 3-4 year starter for the Tigers. Unbelievable. He has been so assured in spring. I think you can all tell that. There's just something about this kid. Brian Kelly says it as well. There's just something about this kid that's just when you talk to him, but also when you watch how he plays the game, how he commands. Everybody around him is like at least 2 years older than him on the offensive line, but he's like calling shit out, no problem. Nothing's phasing him. Will Campbell might give him a few like, hey, and he'll and call something different, and it works so well. There's just such a complimentary thing going on there, offensive line. You wish that we could see these guys for another few years. Emery, Will, can you please stay 5 seasons? It's oh God, this offensive line is just, it's insane. And you're going to see them be able to, whereas Jaden Daniels may have covered up some deficiencies in the offensive line in 2022, I think you're going to see the offensive line cover up some deficiencies where Garrett Nussmeier and the receivers might not be on the same page. Like the receiver's not running the correct route, and kind of Nussmeier's screwed in the back because he's like, oh, crap. Now I'm having to hold on to the ball. I'm stuck with the ball. The pressure's coming. The ball should have been gone already. Crap, like in a moment like that, having those type of offensive linemen around you, Will Campbell, Emory Jones, Garrett Dellinger, DJ Chester, who's going to be awesome for the next few years at LSU. And then Miles Frazier, underrated as well. You stand to have a damn good chance. And behind them, Tyree Adams could start for this team just as well as any of the rest. He could be a starter for this team. Any of these guys go down, he could damn well play almost any position on the offensive line. And that's something he has told me. So Tyree Adams has told me that. So he has the confidence to do that, to accomplish that. If an injury happens, you've got someone like that who's just waiting in the wings to dominate. So you just got Brad Davis on one trench who's just coaching these guys like he's the head coach. He's the best offensive line coach in America, best offensive line recruiter, obviously. You're seeing Cohen Eccles as the second string center as a freshman, and you have a redshirt freshman as the starting center. You had 2 freshman starting tackles in 2022. And wow. And every year there's been a freshman breakout. Lance Hurd last year was that freshman breakout. He's gone now. DJ Chester had the moment against Mizzou where he came in for some high-pressure snaps and really bailed LSU out when Charles Turner was hurt. And I feel like offensive line, you build it from that infrastructure, everything's going to work out beautifully. And we're going to see tomorrow something that I think is I've wanted to share with people for a while about this offense. They are going to be peeling out this offensive line to use in the screen game constantly. You're going to see these guys using their athleticism and pulling outside to block for guys like Xavier Thomas in the screen game, guys like Aaron Anderson in the jet sweep action or the screen game, CJ Daniels in the screen game, Chris Hilton especially in the screen game. You're going to see this continuous. Maybe it might be oversimplifying it to say this seems like kind of like a West Coast offensive type of attack from Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton, where it's a lot of death by 1,000 cuts, tight end action, short routes with the receivers, a lot of a running game, but using the running back as a dual threat option out of the backfield. Caleb Jackson's catching passes. Caleb Jackson looks like that 1,000-yard back. But the tight ends, there's been a lot of talk about the tight ends, and we wrote an article about the tight ends where we asked everyone, is it going to be TEU? Is it going to be TEU in 2024 here at LSU? And we highlighted Mason Taylor, Kamarian Pimpton, and Mac Markway, who played a lot of football last year as a freshman, caught a touchdown. Just as many touchdowns as Mason Taylor, actually. So there's a lot of interest there. And then you have Tradez Green, 6'5", 255, freak of nature, 12 touchdown catches, just under 1,000 yards as a senior, and just in high school. And he's coming in, not an early enrollee, coming in May and late May. And I'm just excited for what this tight end room could do. We're going to put the article to that tight end room, TEU in 2024 article right there in the comments section there. But, that goes just right next to offensive line. Yet again, another spot where we have been able to recruit just beautifully since Brian Kelly's been in here. A spot where no matter if it's been Mike Denbrock coaching the tight ends, whether it's been Dean Petzing, who once at one point was had a lot of say over the tight ends, Derek Shea coaching the tight ends, or if you've got Slade Nagel now. I mean, a guy who Tulane's was he an offensive coordinator at Tulane? I'm trying to think of what his position at Tulane, but now he's also the co-special teams coordinator with Bob Diaco, Slade Nagel. So you've got the most stacked tight end room in LSU history. Let's just be real here. Let's just be honest about something here, right? Is that right? The most stacked tight end room in LSU history. You've got Mason Taylor, a guy who's already beaten Alabama with a last-second 2-point conversion catch and a fourth-quarter touchdown. A guy who, he had just barely under 1,000 yards his first season? What was it? And then his second season, he wasn't featured as much, but there was quite obvious reasons why. And that's because Mason Taylor was second to, we'll say even like fourth, fifth to Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., even Kyron Lacey with 7 touchdowns last year, but was featured just as much in the offense as Mason Taylor was, because this ball last year, if it was not going to Jaden Daniels running the football or Logan Diggs running the football, this thing was usually up in the air to either Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr. That was just it. See, 36 catches last year, 348, 1 touchdown. Mason Taylor still had 6 more catches than Kyron Lacey last season. Felt like he was barely even used in the offense. First season, only 414 yards. Okay, so not 1,000 yards or anything like that. Like 38 catches, just barely over what he had this last season. where you expected some growth there. Maybe this was last year's season was supposed to be that 1,000-yard season, but it just didn't make sense offensively. And Mike Denbrock, a guy who's obsessed with his tight ends, was the guy who refused to use his best tight end, which tells you all you need to know about the talents of Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. When Mike Denbrock refused to use his tight ends last year because these guys were just that good. Now you've heard Brian Kelly already say, it doesn't matter how good these receivers are even. This year we're going to be using these tight ends a lot more because they are simply just that gifted. And so I think you're going to see Mason Taylor have a return to prominence. And I think the spring game is going to be a moment where Brian Kelly's going to want to send that message. I think you're going to see Mason Taylor get fed in the red zone. I think you're going to see him get a few touchdowns here this spring game. So we know that we are going to see a heavy dosage of these tight ends this season. I mean, that's just what we've been told from everybody, and that's what we've seen from Garrett Nussmeier's game throughout his career, really. And we've seen it with his connection with Mason Taylor, and then throughout spring camp, what have we seen? Heavy dosages of Mason Taylor and Kamarion Pimpton, no matter who was the quarterback. So Mac Markway also involved a lot in the passing game. He has shown a lot more in the passing game too. Brian Kelly went out of his way to mention that, where he's saying Mac Markway is burning people with these crossing routes over the middle. I've seen that from the scrimmage a few times where he has taken the ball and he's done things with the football after the catch that I didn't expect Mac to be able to do. And I'm a big fan of Mac Markway's. In fact, we've met Mac. So we've taken a few photos with Mac Markway, had a good time with him. We love talking to his dad. We feel like that's a dude who's a complete tight end, right? He showed that he can block, he can do it, but now he's showing you that he can really stretch the field, and it's just adding even more options to LSU. But once again, some of these guys I'm getting a little worried about because you're looking across the board and everyone's getting so much better. You have to get so, raise your game like crazy to compete with that guy next to you. And LSU are already 3 spots over the limit. Okay, we're already 3 spots over the limit. So, who's gonna go? Who's gonna have to go? Who are LSU going to have to cut between now and the end of this portal window? Well, really, it's going to happen fast. I should actually say it's going to happen a lot quicker than that. Pretty much right out of the gate, you're going to see cuts. You've already seen Jackson Howard. You've already seen Jackson Howard, a dude who was playing with the second string and at worst the third string, but was getting a lot of second string edge reps. You saw that guy transfer. And Jackson Howard was beloved at LSU. Once again, another player we've met, another player we talked to, absolutely we're like, what? You're leaving? But you've got to be real with yourself here and ask yourself how many positions are going to be dominated by a few guys this season, and how many spots are there where we're going to have rotation? I think we're going to have a lot of rotation at receiver. I think we have a lot of rotation at running back potentially. You got Caleb Jackson, Josh Williams, two-headed monster right there. Trey Holly's coming back to the fore. Malachi Lane. So you got some really good guys there, some good options. Linebacker with Whit Weeks, West Weeks, you've got to rotate there. I think they're going to. Bo Davis, he loves to rotate as well. But there's some spots you just simply need to find a few guys and stick to them. We're going to see tomorrow who's, in some of these spots who are favored by these coaches. Who's the guy that's my starting safety? That guy is my, and for me, Jordan Gilbert, there's really no question. He's that starting strong safety. And then Sage Ryan has proven he's that starting free safety. You've got both of those guys back there to settle things down. And I think seeing those guys put in their best position, you've got Jordan Gilbert ready to rock and roll. He's already been a proven SEC starter at Texas A&M. That's to me. I feel like that's going to be a good spot for us. You got Major Burns at the star position, way better than him getting caught in coverage. Get him near to the line. Get him near the line of scrimmage. But there's always been worries about LSU's, defense and the decisions with putting Harold Perkins at middle linebacker. I'm here to tell you here and now, as strange as it is, you always picture guys like Harold Perkins blitzing off the edge and dueling with left tackles and beating them with these moves and dipping under them and all this. Truly, the best ways you can have an more undersized, I should say, speed rusher, pass rusher type specimen like Harold Perkins, or they did the same thing like with Tyrann Mathieu or LaRon Landry when they would come in on a pass rush. What do? You blitz them from the middle. You do something up front to disrupt that protection, a stunt inside, whatever, that they just cannot handle these defensive linemen, and it creates that lane. The linebacker picks up the coverage. He's already down there waiting, anticipating. He's already hovering, and bam, comes like a bat out of hell. I just, oof. There's some ways that we can be extremely creative with this defense. I just think we've seen a few of those things, but you're not going to see them in the spring game. I think you're going to see a few get the LSU fans rocking again about the defense. Get the LSU fans pumped and hyped about the defense. I think you're going to see a few things like that. But I don't think you're going to see, here's everything we're going to do. Here's all of our blitz packages. Here's all of our schemes. Here's exactly what we're going to do. You're not going to see anything like that. So if you're disgusted that they were in a 4-3 the whole time tomorrow and blah, 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 which they're not going to do. They're going to mix that up, obviously. But just for example, if they didn't do this, they should have done this, they should have showed us. Chill, okay? There's plenty of time for Blake Baker and them to show you that when we do this in the season. They're going to be scrimmaging this in private against each other all the time here, okay? All throughout fall. We'll see what they've got. But I'm telling you, I think it's going to be more vanilla tomorrow than you'll expect. it's going to be it's going to be a long time before we really know where LSU are at defensively under Blake Baker, under Corey Raymond, under these guys. It might not even be until year 2. You're starting guys like PJ Woodland, true freshman at corner in his first season, who, I'm not saying anything like PJ Woodland doesn't deserve to be playing. I'm just saying that when you're starting a true freshman at corner, that what's in front, the veterans, that like no one's capable, right? Or is it just that Zay Alexander is not back yet? I gotta be honest. I feel like, the respect that was there for Zay Alexander, that's fine, but him versus PJ Woodland, PJ Woodland might be better than him. That just might be the facts. And that is what excites me about this LSU defense. Okay. And that's why even if things don't work out as well as they could, if they're at least playing with the mentality we want to see, then we're good. If we're at least playing with a hell bent for leather mentality we want to see, then I'm all good, because the future of this defense is so exciting. Is so tantalizing. Now I know we got a picture of Garrett Nussmeier on the screen, so we'll go to someone else that actually would replicate what we're talking about here. But you've got Deshaun McBride, Kylan Jackson, both doing really well at safety. And then PJ Woodland, freshman, starting at corner. You've got Ashton Stamps, who was a freshman, starting first game at Alabama as a corner. Javian Toviano, redshirt freshman, first game also starting at Alabama as a corner. Both of them are just standout freaks. And you've seen Ashton Stamps more than you've seen Toviano, mostly starting on that right hand with PJ Woodland on that left side. Of course, that's because, Zay Alexander is out. We'll see, that position will develop more into fall camp. But then you've got Dominic McKinley coming in late May, a 5-star defensive lineman. And Gabe Relaford, who has been an absolute madman in the trenches. This dude is going to be special for LSU. It might take time. Maybe it takes a season or two. I don't care. Gabe Relaford, freak. And there we go. Harold Perkins right there. Braden Swinson, number 13. There's Jordan Gilbert, number 14. Absolute freak. There's Ashton Stamps, 26. And see, he's already been basically acclimated into the defensive starting lineup here. There's that defensive line right there. You've seen a lot of Jalen Lee starting. For some weird reason, you've seen Kimo Macchianoli starting for LSU at defensive line. And obviously it's because we lack the numbers, but we lack the numbers so bad that, or we just like the talent so bad that a former offensive lineman is now starting there in some indoor scrimmages like we've seen at the McClellan facility. Strange. Strange. We've seen a lot of Jalen Lee, Jacobian Guillory as a tandem, and that does not fill me with a lot of confidence at defensive tackle. Does not fill me with a lot of confidence. We've got Jalen Thomas, 91. That's a player who hasn't really been given a shot yet, but might get one at some point. Walk on, I believe, but really talented dude. 99. Who the hell is 99? I'm trying to think of who the hell would 99 be. That's like how weird this defensive line is right now. That's Joey August, defensive tackle. Joey August. Joey August. And then 96, Jalen Lee. 97, Dylan Carpenter. And then 52, Prince Malbrew. So Joey August could be a badass. He could be, the next Nagurski Award winner. Who the hell do I know? I think I've mentioned that name before. Yeah, And then there's also like another guy, Braden Augustus or something like that. So there's a few guys who are like August and Augustus, and it's kind of strange. One of I think Augustus is an offensive lineman, and then Joey August is a defensive tackle. So forgive us. We might call him Joey Augustus at one point, although we're usually pretty good at that. A.D. Perkins says, "Go Tigers." What's up, my man? How you doing? Happy Friday, brother. How's the new ride going? The spring game live on LSUODYSSEY.com. If you do not have access to ESPN Plus, if you do not have access to SEC Network Plus, if you want to watch the spring game, we will have a live link. We will do the best we can. We cannot guarantee it 100%, but come to the site. More often than not, we have been able to put a live link for people to be able to watch this game for free. And the last few years, it's been a hoot. We've been able to get a lot of people to be able to watch the spring game who wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And so it's a great thing to be able to do. If you are not able to watch that, come to LSUODYSSEY.com. We will keep that thing refreshed with links. You don't even have to worry about this thing. We will worry about it for you so that you can have optimal viewership of this LSU Tigers 2024 spring game, because this is going to be a game where, think about it this way, in a historical context, this might be the final time you see some guys in a LSU Tigers uniform, because the specter of guys leaving that 88-man number, the 85 roster limit, knowing we're going to have to transfer in some defensive tackles, some defensive linemen. How many guys are going to be processed, be cut? Jackson Howard has now been one of them. One second, everybody. I have to do this. I have to do this. Some huge work. You're going to see this on Twitter in just 1 second. Don't get mad at me. You're going to love this. Just 1 second. We'll be back. We just have to do this. We are back live. I apologize for that. That had to happen. Hopefully you can see why I just posted that. Oh my fucking Christ, of course. Browser lost connection to the camera, so I have to restart it now too. Of course. What's up, everybody? How you doing? I apologize for that delay, but that was very, very, very necessary. I hope you can see at this point. LSU had a great visitor, much needed visitor, Philip Bleedy. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Who is coming in from, this is a dude who transferred from Indiana, played at Texas Tech at one point, and he's only seemed to play more snaps and get better as his career has gone on at all these places year to year. And he's visited LSU this past few days, and LSUODYSSEY.COM has an exclusive. This is just the first part of the conversation. I mean, we're talking. There's going to be more, hopefully. We're trying to keep tabs on Philip and hopefully get him into Baton Rouge, because his wife Emma is a Southerner. He's a father of a 1-year-old son, 2-year-old daughter. This is someone who has a lot to play for here, and he has basically a lot on the line this season. He needs to succeed this season to secure that NFL bag. And what better place to go do that at than LSU, a place where you're going to play. You're going to get playing time LSU in 2024 on defensive line, but you also have a chance to become a superstar at LSU with this platform that we have. and that we've proven we have. And if I was advising Philip, I would say LSU gives you something you can't get anywhere else, and that's the security of star power, the security of that brand. We just posted the article of that interview with Philip Bleedy there in the comment section. Yeah, anybody, any thoughts from anybody? God, that was some intense moments there. I think the stream is getting all just terrible right now. There's all choppy and stuff. Let's let me exit out of a few things. Hopefully that will get rid of it. Oh. Oh. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is a weird day. I'm getting like a lot of weird info into my phone that just makes my head spin. The Philip Bleedy stuff is amazing, and it's going to be positive. I think it would be hard to say no to LSU, but you never know. It's also really down to like, how does like his wife feel about raising their kids in Baton Rouge, the environment, all that. There's a lot more that goes into it than just his football future. We'll see. Jarrett Billy, my good man, says, I have a thought. He's a lock. I hope. Because we need him. But I want comments to litter this comment section. I want things that are going to stimulate discussion here and debate about the spring game coming up. I want madness. I would encourage you all to check out our LSU Spring Standouts article as well that we wrote in the last few days, where you can't escape it. Kyron Lacey has taken over practices this spring. You can't escape it. Chris Hilton Jr. looks like, the Robin maybe to Lacey's Batman. But under the surface, Aaron Anderson continues to stick around and be a guy that could be used in many different ways by this offense. My son's making the funniest noises right now. What you doing, Sage? What the hell is that? A little. Guys, even though an hour into this and I had that break of a bit here, my throat is killing me. I don't know what's going on here. We're going to take a timeout. We are going to launch this later. I apologize, but we just feel like shit. And if I just feel like shit, it's going to be a shitty show, especially when there's no comment section buzzing. If there's a comment, if you guys were lighting up the comment section, I would just stay live and just take the shit and just take the beating, take the pain. But we got to light this comment section up more. And so we are going to take a little pause. We're going to come back on later. We're going to do this in the next little bit here, probably like take a half-hour timeout here and come back on and kill it for you guys, because there's just some stuff on my phone that's coming in I have to deal with, because news is potentially breaking fast for y'all. So thank you everybody. Sorry for what's going on. We will be back on just a second though. Do not worry.